every single trading house started as an intermediate between a refinery and an end user. Not having a ship is the most stressful thing. So when I was a broker, I had one of this client and friend. He wanted to take a ship. We go on subs. We couldn't confirm the deal on time, and the ship owner decided to say, "I'm not extending subs," and walk away. And the guy gets upset. Does he know who I am? I will never, ever do business with him, nor me, nor my company. Tell him he's blacklisted for life. An hour later, he goes back. I managed to get hold of the cargo. Can you get me the ship back? I told him, my friend, I told the guy that you will never do business there. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Did you really tell him this? No, you're not serious. You're supposed to filter what I'm saying. I said, don't worry, I didn't.
Welcome to a new podcast episode, and today we are joined by Georges Katout. Georges Katout is working at Trafigura, a leading supplier of commodities. Before joining Trafigura, Georges was working as a shipbroker at BRS Shipbrokers. Georges, it's a pleasure to having you today. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Pleasure is mine. So yes, I'm in the shipping business 25 years. Now almost 26. And so I'm Palestinian, born in Algeria, grew up in Greece, studied in France, and then lived in Paris and Dubai, and now Switzerland.
Very interesting. So I want to ask you the first question. So what are you doing right now?
So now the latest role since over a year now is I'm heading the intermediate and specialized desk, which is actually anything below 25,000 deadweight on specialized tankers, chemical tankers, including the river barges, etc. So we have a team of 3-4 people around this to grow a bit this business, as it's something new for us.
Okay, very interesting. Can you explain maybe when you started? I mean, you were like young in Palestine. So for how long did you live in?
No, I never. I was born in Algeria, so I never lived this. My parents Palestinian, lived in Algeria. My dad was working in the oil business in Algeria, and then in Greece, as I was introduced to this business. I studied chemistry, so nothing to do with shipping, in Nice. And then when I finished the chemistry, I went back to Greece, and I had to go to my civil military for 18 months. And then I started my career in a small Greek shipbroker.
That's quite impressive, the number of places that you...
Yeah, not necessarily by choice, but yes. Yeah. And then we so started my career in a small shipbroker, Greek shipbroker, doing East Med with the small tankers, including chemical, vegetable oils. And after I was approached by BRS when they were opening their office in Dubai. So went to 6 months in Paris, and then joined the team in BRS. So it was Matthew Philippe and myself were the only two first, where the office was started in and was doing clean product, tankers always. Stayed from 2003 to 2009 in BRS. And then I joined Trafigura in Dubai. And 4 years after, I was asked to move to the headquarters here in Geneva.
Okay, very interesting. Your father was a trader.
My father was an oil trader, indeed.
Okay. So how did you... So you started with shipping. So there is still a link.
Of course. Because already I knew few, people, not necessarily relevant to what I was doing immediately, but yes, I was born within this trading, buying, selling. I have to ship, so I understood it quite, and I liked the. I think what I liked most is being able to speak my 4 languages and be on the phone and earn money. That was, I think, a good start. The latest rather than be a laboratory to do chemistry. So that was exciting. Also exciting to be around people. I love people. I like to discover new kind of people, new nationalities, new places, and I think shipbroking was quite a good start for this.
Yeah. So for you, like when you started as a shipbroker, how was it like your first at the beginning as a young shipbroker?
Well, it was a bit. I mean, I was in a very old-fashioned school where with a captain, a Greek captain, who was on top of everything, reading terms, reading charter parties, making position lists. It was quite strict before you start doing any deal. But I was quite eager very quickly, and I managed to get into some. Because of the languages I was speaking, opened me a few doors to start creating some expertise in the small market. This is how bigger shop like BRS saw me, because I was co-broking with them. With a few of them are still here actually here.
By the way, okay, very interesting. And then after, like as a shipbroker, you went to the chartering side, like working for like a owner and as well like a trading house.
So the truth is, when I joined BRS in Dubai, and we were doing CPP mainly around the Middle East, which was something new completely for BRS, but it was also new for me. So I had all the liberty and freedom to go try to get people. In the beginning, we were trying to get business with small trading company. The big boys would not speak to us. We were too small, not enough knowledgeable. And then slowly you create an expertise in the market, and then you get your name known, support of some owners, then some bigger charters who start getting interested, and then you get your crack on a cargo here or cargo there, and then you prove yourself, and then you continue. Important to have at the time to have an expertise in one specific market, specific size.
I think it's important to be special.
As a start, yes. And then after, of course, which is, I mean, this is maybe for later, but what is the most challenging thing, and I think for the young people who start, you need to be able to get out of your comfort zone. You only progress if you get out of your comfort zone. You don't want to do cross AG all your life. It would not take you anywhere.
So you started with CPP?
CPP mainly. I did some DPP, of course, because the clients, and this is the other thing is, and this is a little bit where it becomes more interesting, is when you become expert in the market. You get some traders or charter who trust you, give you the business on your expert, but then they themselves move into a new business or new area, and they ask you to, oh, would you do this as well? And of course, you never say no. They say yes. So you have to learn this new market. Now, when you work in a big company like BRS, you always have support from your colleagues. You always take the help of the colleagues who would know more this business. The interface with your client who trusts you as his broker. But then, if you don't know the market enough, your colleague will help you, and then you get back to the client. It's a bit of a not every. I mean, of course, bigger organizations are way more organized. You have specific, talking BP, Shell, Trafigura, Glencore. You have more expertise, and they ask also expertise from the outside. But smaller traders want you to do everything.
Okay, interesting. So now you are still working in this market? Or
I mean, I was doing, so when I came to Geneva, I kept the Middle East CPP, and then I started doing CPP in the West as well. And slowly I moved into doing LR1 and LR2, and I was the coordinator of the LR book of Trafigura till last year, when I was asked to try and to help to create this new book.
okay, interesting. And what are maybe the audience they don't know like the CPP market and what is even a CPP?
Well, clean petroleum product, okay, which is, I mean, I like to say this to the youngest coming, and even to the young traders. in shipping, in tanker shipping, the world is divided by two: clean and dirty, and then east of Suez and west of Suez. And then within these areas, you have, of course, different people who get, on the dirty, for example, which have people that specialize on the VLCC, Aframaxes, Suezmaxes, some on the Med, some in WAF, ARA, US, East, etc. So CPP is clean petroleum product, so it's mainly done on Handys, MRs, and LR1, LR2s, and it became more and more interesting and relevant. So when I started, crude was the main focus of everyone, owners, brokers,
Competition very high, I understand.
and the competition was very high, yes.
Okay. Yes. Because your father was an oil trader, so maybe you could say, oh, maybe I want to try oil, but now you wanted a market like to have some space.
Yeah, I think you, when you're young, you always want to get away from what, you're to try to do your own path. Etc. Okay, always, I mean, it's no secret that shipping and oil trading remain quite a market where people come from, family, a brother, a cousin, a father. It's a lot of it, because it's not something that is known enough in the university where somebody at the age of 18 just said, oh, I want to do shipping. Yes. No, people say, I want to do banking, I want to do finance, I want to do marketing. But shipping is, unless you know somebody you never, and then the reality is you keep on discovering how big is this market. Every time you grow, I say, oh wow, there are chemical stainless steel ships, which like cargo sizes of 1,000 tons on some specific, and then you have all the way up to crude or storage or the bunkering. The bunkering business is another niche market on its own. So it's quite a huge. Of course, then the dryer, the container, and all the other things where you discover through your life. So it's a big market.
It's a big market, yeah. No, it's very interesting. It's crucial shipping. That's why. Yeah. Now I want to ask you more about the charter, because now you're working like more in chartering. How did you switch? What do you see in terms of difference when you switch from a broker, a chartering tanker broker, to like in-house chartering?
I mean, look, broker usually is the intermediate between ship owner and the charterers. Somebody who will be approaching multiple owners on behalf of the charterer. In tankers specifically, I mean, I know people don't like to say this, but cargo is king. The guy this is a bit of the contradiction of this market. Owner are the one paying the commission, but the charter is with the one who chooses which broker run with the cargo. So, and as a broker, you have to keep a bit of a balance to help your client achieve the best, at the same time being in good relationship with the owners to help this. That's the very basic. Then if you ask me what's the difference, okay, now each broker has a kind of a different path, right? Some of them are in a complete execution mode, some are more creative, are a full support for the charter. So especially when you work with small trading house, they don't have the shipping people in, they count on the broker to do almost everything for them, and this is where you get a little bit closer to the chartering mind, and you and then the next step obviously becomes, at one stage, okay, I want to do something more, and I want to be taking decision. There are one thing that is lacking in shipbroking, and then people have to accept it, is that you're not the one taking the decision, right? You're always between two people, and your achievement is to make the deal happen and to agree, but you're not necessarily taking the decision. The decision remains with the owner and the charter to agree on the final rate. So going to charterers, this is where you have a bit of more freedom of deciding yourself which ship to take, what rate to counter, the timing to go into the market.
Okay. So interesting. On the so, for example, you have in-house broker for like the shipowner. That's as well a in-house broker for trading house. It's more like chartering manager or
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a big difference. The chartering job has definitely evolved from being an execution of the freight on behalf of the trader to become a proper trading itself, a commodity. And that's why people are called now freight trader rather than just charter. There's a bit of a difference. And this has been, I would say, starting, if I'm not mistaken, on the time of Barkish and probably Glencore, where they started to have, to take position, and then the chartering people taking decision on calling the market, having CUA, taking time charter in, and relating the ship out to the trader or out. And then, of course, it evolved and it became something that all major and other oil trader doing it. Of course, you have also the other kind of job from the owner side, let's put it that way, where you have people pooling, okay, into this, and it's also a complete different mentality from a in-house broker who will take the okay or the go ahead from the boss being the owner to being able to decide himself on behalf of the pool, reporting to the pool manager, for example. So you have a, I would say, a spectrum of people in the market, and the spectrum is it's about the decision making. Who is really making the decision in the spectrum?
for example, Trafigura, you have commodity trader and freight trader. What is the difference between both of them?
I mean, freight is a commodity. Yes. Or it became a commodity. Trading is, to simplify it, I buy, I sell, or I sell and then buy, hedge, cover by risk, do options on swapping cargoes around. Shipping is exactly the same. So if you sit on 4 ships, you have the choice to choose which ship to go to, which cargo. You have only option this or that, for example, and then you also take position. You go long for a year, or for 5, or for 10, or for 2 months, or for 3 months, against being able to relet the ship in the market and make a P&L, so a profit or a loss. Then we introduced the hedging model to your position, which is helped by the fact that you do FFA, but also what we call COA, so contract of affreightment with a fixed rate. So it's all about, it's exactly the same. It's having a short, have it a length, and make the length and short work to the best to make P&L. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. Okay. And you consider yourself as a freight trader?
Yes, we definitely, I would say the move started, I mean, again, within my organization, you have people that are more or less freight trader, but the evolution is always to become a freight trader. The reason is of how many length you have. So if you only, let's take an example. If we don't have any small ships, which we didn't have before, and then we have cargo of 5,000-6,000, your role become executing in the market, taking a ship, etc. If you start thinking that, okay, let's take a length, let's take some ships on time charter for period, let's sell COAs internally and externally, then of course it becomes trading.
Okay, very interesting. So now in terms of chartering process, you detailed us a little bit. You gave us an overview. Imagine I'm your client. So you have, of course, you have the cargo. I'm a shipowner. How it works, the fuel process, and who is involved on this fuel process to give this kind of big picture.
I mean, from my side, let's take the charter role, right? Chartering role. So our job is, I can say, divided by 3. Okay, first of all, we are expected to get market intelligence. That's come from reading the reports, talking to people, to go if the market is going up or down, and decide of the timing you will enter the market to cover your cargo, right? Second job, obviously, is to execute the trade for the trader on terms of shipping. So he has a cargo, these dates, etc. What is the best ship you can take, and how can you beat the market or be calling the market correctly? Okay. And the third job, of course, to make you a freight trader is when you start having also your length and being able to do it the other way. So you have cargoes and ships, and you juggle between the two. So the process, the simple process is the trader discuss with you about the market. What do you think an Aframax will be loading in second half of January from Med to TA, for example, right? And then you say, okay, the market is moving that way. The paper market say this, it's getting tight, or it's getting, all the ships are getting, the list is getting long. And then the trader will say, by the way, I bought the cargo dates 25, 27. Now you have a cargo, you need to execute. Okay, and then you go to the market, usually via a broker, where you ask him to get you the list, to gather some offers. And your question is, how is the process? Yeah. I would tell you the easy answer and the basic answer is the cheapest dollar per ton. Okay. In reality, it's not. That's a poor job if you only look at the cheapest dollar per ton. What you need to look at is the quality of the ship, the safety of its itinerary, lastly cargoes, which is very important when you trade clean product and some product that cannot accept this, and also the, let's say, the optionalities that the order can provide you, because each trade we do like to have options, especially in trading house. Okay, so these 4 items are something that you look at before you choose. You might not end up taking the cheapest dollar per ton, but you've taken probably the ship that will make the day can, will have no issue on cleaning, will give you options.
Okay, I understand. With shipping, it's more about the TC or the world scale, or
Yeah. So another, I say, could you ask this question? So actually, when people ask me, what is your job in 2 words? I would say I'm a translator between US dollar per ton to time charter equivalent, because owners speak a language of a time charter equivalent, and the trader speak a language of dollar per ton, and we're the only one capable to understand both and to match it.
yeah. But how can you combine both? Because dollar per ton is based on the quantity.
You combine on understanding. For example, I mean, if I'll give you an example, right? I mean, a trader in a market that is very, very low is, oh, but this is expensive, still expensive. Can you try to do so much less, for example? And then you say, okay, but if you are not have the experience to say how much is the owner owning during this voyage, you don't know what is the margin that the owner can give you. Example, in the time where the oil market was super high, $150 a barrel, for example, so the bankers were high, and the freight market happened to be at the same time very low, on the VHCCs, you might have had sometimes that 85% of the freight is bankers. Yeah. So that's together with the port cost, that makes it probably 90% of your freight is a fixed cost. So the only margin the owners are playing with is the 10%, which is his earnings per day for the amount of wage. So he cannot go below 0, for example. Yeah. Or below 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when the owner, also the other reason why we say this, the translation part of the thing is, when I say why this owner is not giving me these options, okay, because his alternative is to make so much money per day to do this kind of voyage. If he does your voyage, it earns him less. So he judges on how much he wants to make more per day, and not necessarily of what you want to pay him. Now again, this is the extreme. Generally, people do understand there's a basic requirement, but being with the two hats, as a freight trader, running ships and running cargo, we understand this a bit better.
Okay.
And it's also brokers. I mean, if I have an advice to the broker, and some of your senior colleague have done it from day one, you always try to run numbers yourself of what the ship is, so you can guide both your clients that you're not doing the job on their behalf, but you have to know what you're talking about. Wires calculation is super important for the broker also to understand.
The first things I learned, by the way. Sorry about that. Okay. So imagine, the goal of traders, like common traders, this is to have
We need to have the cheapest dollar per ton.
the cheapest dollar per ton. Yes, for the paper trader, this is the opposite.
It's not as easy as this. Okay, the trade works on two kind of trades, FOB and CIF, roughly, say CF or CF. So you buy FOB, so it means as you buy the cargo at the low port, and freight is your responsibility. Okay, and then you have also a market that trades on CIF, so delivered price, which includes the freight element into your trade. This is where it becomes a bit, sometimes because CIF price is always linked to the FOB plus freight plus premium, and then this is where people play a bit in the sense that I need to achieve to optimize to the maximum. If you said somebody deliver at $100 and you can buy at 80, okay. If you want to make money, you could make money on freight by chartering at less than 20, just to make it easy, okay. But this market does move as much as the FOB premium and the C premium. So the freight market is also, that's why it's a commodity, because it's also tradable, it's also volatile. It can go from worst case 100 to worst case 200 in days, if not in hours sometimes. When we saw the crazy moment during COVID, especially, and some other crisis. So the volatility of the freight makes our job extremely interesting, because you also like the commodity trading is the timing you enter when you want to fix the shape is so important.
Okay. Let's talk now about, you told us like you need to select the right ship. That's the diligence process. How it works, what kind of factors you need to take into account?
Depending on the company, obviously, we know that our friends in oil major have their a strict vetting process, and a lot of them would not engage into negotiations before they know that the ship is vetted, right? And this can be done quickly. For us in trading houses, we depend a lot on the supplier and the receiver as well. So your experience plus the experience of your broker can help you a lot to not spend time on negotiating a ship that is most likely not suitable for your business. Okay. And this is where, if you go back to why people do use a broker, if the communication is so easy, you can talk to everybody directly, or put an AI system where you put your cargo in, your ship in, and somebody will mix it together and then get you the deals done. That's not happening yet, because the expertise of the chartering guy, the broker, and the owner, obviously, as well, of course, on terms of knowing which ports he can fit in. If the ship is a shallower draft side, his intake will be better. Okay. The last cargo that he has, how much suitable it is for the next cargo, and how much more flexibility it gives you to sell the cargo. So as a trader, just to give you an example, it's rare. A trader usually does not buy from A and sell to B knowingly when he enters the trade. He will either start by selling somewhere, and then he will try to buy somewhere else to fit his short, or vice versa. He will buy a FOB cargo, ship it, and hope to find somewhere to sell it. So in both cases, you need flexibility of where the ship would go, and you need also to be able to hit this kind of. That's why the communication is constant between us and the traders to discuss when they enter specifically new trade, a new area. We discuss first question: what are your restrictions at the port? Is any oil measure involved in the trade? Some oil measures are more difficult than others, so you would not fix a ship if you know she would not clear BP specifically because this is a BP terminal or a Shell terminal or whatever. So the more you know about this prior negotiating, the easier your negotiation and the more efficient you become, and you don't waste too much time and you don't fail subject, which is quite important, very important in our industry and our reliability as charterer.
Well, the impact of failing subjects, is it like, what kind of impacts do you have, for your agents? Because
I mean, typically, I'll help you. Typically, you say subject to STEM, supplier, receiver, charter management approval. Okay, that's the 4 subject. STEM means that have you bought the cargo or not? Okay, is it in fact? It means is it a tender or not? Yeah. Okay, do you hold the oil or you are trying to hold the oil? Okay, then supplier is which terminal you are buying from, and the receiver to which people you are sending. But the main really one is charter management approval. Okay, which means that the other 3 are okay, and the deal is okay. Good charterers would fail very few ships for 2 reasons. One is for what I told you before. If you're doing your due diligence before, you won't have surprises. You put the ship on sale 2 days after you find out that the ship does not fit this load port, this port, and you have to fail. Secondly, also is because you know theoretically what your trader is, how firm is the business, and if you really need to have a ship, you don't go on sale with a ship if you have a tender, or maybe theoretically you're capable to tell him it will be worth get 100. I feel it. And within 2-3 days with the negotiation, if something moves, you say, by the way, it's moving. Be careful. If you have not concluded, assume a bit of more freight, etc. So once it's done, you have the ship, etc. Coming back to the previous discussion about difference between chartering and freight trader, our job at freight trader can be also to back the trader on a forward basis. So on a timing that the ship is not fixable yet. If you have a cargo in March, you can't find somebody to give you a ship today for March. Okay, but what we can offer to the trader is, I will back you. I will fix you at this number in March. And how do you do this? One, it's because of the length you have. You have a paper curve on FFA, either directly related to the cargo or a proxy that you can use to guide you where the levels are. You take the risk. You take a bit of, obviously, it's a bit of margin, but the risk is yours. And then if you can cover it better, it's your money. If you cover it less good, you lose. But the trader would be happy that he had fixed his element of rate for his cargo in March and done.
the way you make profits, as broker is based on commission, and for you in chartering is, like in-house chartering.
In-house chartering, again, we say chartering and not freight trading, right? Yeah. We chartering is you're executing, so you have to, depending on the company, some company you have to beat the index, etc. We don't have this. Most of us don't have this. Not you have to beat the index, because the index, being a good charterer is also choosing the timing to wear the market. On a market that is falling, you sit on your cargo. You wait the market to settle, to go down. On a rising market, you rather fix early. Okay, so the timing is one of the most important, part of the game to make to be better than others. But there's no formula to show if you have done, and then you're not paid on this. You are paid for what the company does, what the book does, because the traders are the one also to come at the end of the year. So this guy did well, this guy did well, and then it's discretionary at the end. Now, when you are a freight trader, and because you take risk, and because you take length and shows, now there is a P&L. There's a proper profit or loss in your book, and this will show. I mean, obviously, if you're a good charter, you should be making money because you would have called the market better and achieved better results, right? It doesn't mean only because sometimes the market goes so much against you for different reasons, right? The war goes here or there, and then it's beyond your thing. But also, these companies do use hedges to limit the exposure of market fluctuating.
Okay. Freight trader short in-house chartering is the same. I mean, I already asked you the question, but I just want to clarify this.
Well, not really. Not really. A freight trader is also a charter. I mean, again, our job in Trafigura, in Glencore, in Vitol, in BP, in Shell, in Total, all these guys who have a freight team, okay, we do charter, so we do execution of the thing, but we also have taken some position on the side. So it's not either or, it's both. Okay, so, and that's what I was telling you before. Some of us are more doing charter because they don't, in their business, expertise business, we don't have the possibility to take ships in, or there's no liquidity for this. And some of our other colleagues, okay, are almost complete freight trader because our internal cargo flow is so little compared to the volume they do that it's less of a chartering job than the other. So it's a mixture of things.
Okay, and when you say you know a trader, is it like you identify a trader like a paper trading? Or?
You have, I mean, like for chartering or like for freight traders, you have paper and physical.
Yeah.
Okay. To make it simple, a physical trader is the one who will buy the cargo physically and has to sell it physically, and he will use paper to hedge his exposure, including his shipping exposure, right? But then you have jobs, either in freight or in order, who are people are focusing on paper trading. But just to give you an example, right? I mean, paper trading is complex. Not only I buy low and sell high and make money. Okay, it's more complex. They are trading, how we call it, calendar, quarter against quarter, month against month, one market against the other. It's also a bit of a complex thing where they see some inefficiencies into two market, and they try to catch this delta between the inefficiency to make money.
Okay. Now I understand. So now, when you start as a shipbroker, people always think like brokers are on the same ships, like new leasing or even S&P, but chartering is actually
Yeah, because if you look at your everyday life, okay, you only know that your Amazon thing come with a container. How does it get in and how what's freight forwarding is? I mean, who cares? Okay, when you get your oil into your car, you're getting heat. Yeah, you don't know how where they bought it from. It came through a barge. It came through a ship. It came from India, or did it come from Antwerp? You don't see it on a day to day. Okay, and people think that it's just you put something on the chip and then it goes. So yeah, but sell and purchase is more because then it's related a little bit to how we call it, to the S&P market of the housing. You're buying a house or you're selling a house.
Yeah. Okay, clear. Now I want to ask you a question. It's quite interesting, as a big trading house, you are producing as well the commodities. For example, big trading house are there, or Refinery, for example. So then you have as well your own fleet of vessels, so you're quite self-sufficient in a way. So is it like, can you maybe elaborate if you compare with like, so you have these traders who have no ships, no cargoes, they need to be on the market and try to be competitive?
I mean, every single trading house started as an intermediate between a supplier, a refinery, and an end user, just to make it very simple. Okay, and you optimize, okay, for different reasons. Why the refinery does not sell to the end user directly? Why would they go through a trader? They do actually a lot of the volume, but some of the volume they need to do it. They prepare to do it on the spot, but then they don't have the appetite of risk payment in some end user. So the trader comes in, takes the position, carry the risk, and makes a margin. That's the simplistic way of seeing. And then the more you have multiple choices of receivers, then you have multiple choices of supplier. What you can do is to optimize your trade to bring it from A to C instead of bringing it from Z to Y. Okay. So you just optimize, and then with also the help of the knowledge of the paper trader, they can hedge and take advantage of some inefficiencies. We say this in Trafigura, but it's really, despite people seeing us traders, oh, this is the bad boys making. In fact, you are helping the worldwide trade to be more efficient. Otherwise, you will have one supplier, one receiver, and then you are completely blocked on what the alternative if something happened in the refinery in India, for example, and suddenly there is no diesel to come to Europe. Where do you bring it from?
Marcus is a good example before he came on the.
Yeah, Marcus is one of the what we call the guy who started the trading. I mean, our founder and Glencore are ex Marcus, and other small commodities traders in Geneva still are people who used to work with Marcus. And then of course then Vitol and Mercuria, then all these guys, and then shipping. Refiners and oil majors also started having their trading entity, which is a different entity. And now we have the NOCs, which are the national oil companies, ADNOC, KPC, to talk about the alliance. These people also start having a trading. So they're not only marketing their oil, but they're optimizing the trade. So they might sell their oil somewhere else, okay, from the refinery, and buy oil in to cover their usual internal inland demand for the country. And this is they optimize because of difference of quality of the product, different regulation. Take the sulfur, big example. When we moved from 10 ppm, when we moved to 10 ppm sulfur, India was still working on 500 ppm. So they were producing 10 ppm that they were selling, and they were buying 500 ppm. Now, of course, India is consuming 10 ppm, so they are self-sufficient. That's the question. So trader initially started like this. So to answer your question, why? Then you start saying, okay, I want to be more efficient. To be more efficient, I want to have some fleet that I control myself. Then you take time charter or buy or bareboat like BP does. Okay. I want to have some storage. So you start having some storages in places in the world to bring things bulk, and then you break the bulk and then go to smaller ports that cannot go in a big ship. And then some of them say, why not getting into refining and take buy into refining, or buy into gas stations.
Exploration as well.
Gas station or exploration. Exploration is a bit different. It's still a big boy game. Okay, you still have the oil majors mainly there because it needs a lot of money to spend in the beginning, and then you get the result a bit late. It's a different thing. By the way, I'm not an expert, so no, but it's not what traders do like to do. But all major, yes, they have all the way from exploration until gas stations.
So all the supply chain.
All the supply chain. Okay, and this is another thing. So that's why we have Puma as Trafigura, which is our downstream thing. We bought just into Green Energy now in the UK, which is another downstream for biodiesel and production of biodiesel. And the idea is to get a bit of more length, a bit of more short, to control a bit more the chain. In the end, we also Trafigura have done a joint venture with Fredriksen, and we have a company called TFG, which is the bunkering company. So we have 30 bunker ships and 10 bunkering stations. That's because also we want to have access.
You want to be free to the freedom to manage this.
So to manage this and to be able to sell our fuel and our gas oil and potentially in the future our methanol, our ammonia or our LNG as a new bunkering.
Okay.
And all this we do it with the back of getting more and more green and more efficient, which is another thing where the company today is investing in renewable, etc. So we have to move into different commodities,
Okay.
around the energy to trade and to be pioneer in, let's say, getting into a more green energy, more efficient energy.
Okay.
Interesting. Now, it's very interesting, this supply chain question. So, for example, you have the fuel station. You have this company who don't have fuel station. For example, Trafigura, you don't have fuel station.
We have Puma.
Puma, you told me.
Yeah, in Africa and Latin America.
Okay. So, but if in the case, the end user and chartering, as broker, we don't never know the end user. I mean, it's not our business. We manage only the freight itself. But typically, what kind of end user is it?
I can tell you, for example, a big example. For example, around the Rhine, what the barges do is a lot of the supply is diesel to the big supermarkets for both their gas station of the supermarket and the diesel they use for their generators, because these people do consume a lot. And these people choose to buy directly 1,000 or 2,000 from people who provide them the barge from Yare into the Rhine.
Okay. You can buy more. You can be the markets.
Yeah, it could be 2,000 tons of they're buying only every 2 months. That's what they need.
Then you will VLCC.
But usually, again, when you say dollar per ton, how important the dollar per ton is, the economy of scale, the bigger the ship, the cheaper is your dollar per ton freight. But then, of course, you have to go to the end user. So you have to do an STS probably with a smaller ship and then go with trucks. So you add a lot of cost. And then that's why a guy who receives it at the port is not paying the same thing that the guy who receives it in there. But since if you go and fill your gas today from center of Geneva versus if you go to the mountain, you would pay more money.
Because it's more complicated to get there and the access is...
For them, exactly. And less people, and then,
Very interesting what you say. Okay. Now, in terms of, in your job, okay, as broker, it's good to be specialized. In chartering, of course, you deal with different type of commodities. You say that for you, like you have your markets. What are the main differences, for example, with chartering in dry bulk? I know you don't managing dry bulk. Maybe when you talk with your colleagues, what can you see in terms of difference?
I know a little bit about cargo because I've been around for a while. But I mean, again, it's a commodity that's completely different. So the sizes are different. What they move are different. So typically, iron ore, coal move on big ships. Concentrate or small metal, etc., move on smaller. Then you have all the grain business, and you have all the some urea or sulfur that is used for the agriculture, etc. It's a complete different. Now, the biggest difference I would say is the market is less liquid. They have smaller clients and buyer, which means the options are less necessarily. So if you buy iron ore, you have to buy from Brazil, for example, and you have mainly China taking it from time to time to take somebody. But if you have this size of the ship, you know that you're going to China only. It's rare that you have iron ore in the water and they say, oh, now divert from China, go to somewhere else. Where the oil, the beauty of the oil, which make it a little bit thing, is a cargo of crude that has been loaded in the US, for example, can go to Europe, China, India, maybe even Latin America. Sometimes, right? And then the same oil can be changing. I mean, this is what you hear a lot, and people don't get it. They say, how come the ownership of the cargo can change 3, 4, 5 times ownership before it reached the last part? So we buy from Reliance 100,000 tons of diesel oil. By the time we arrive to Antwerp, we might have sold it to Glencore, who sold it to Vito, who sold it to Mercurio, who sold it back to us. Yeah, and then the ship is still in the water, or even not loaded. So this is something that does not happen in the dry cargo as much.
Okay. And what are the most stressful situation for like a chartering team?
Yeah, not having a ship is the most stressful thing.
Not having a ship.
Or your ship is delaying so much and it's too late to replace it. This is when it becomes very, very stressful because you need to replace it. Supplier is not happy. There is then because you're not getting the ship on time, the trader is not happy. The receiver is not happy because if you load her later, etc., and you have to manage so many upset people around you that is impossible. Then you go, the frustration is you don't usually have the information of being delayed or what will happen quick enough. If ship have a breakdown, etc., you can be sure that you'll be not told for 24 hours because people are assessing what's going on and they don't want to say, yes, I'll be there next day. And then you come to a situation where, what do? I replace or I take the demurrage, which means you have exposure because the supplier might charge you so much money. Your market, the hedges are out of the money. You have a penalty from the supplier, and it can become very, very costly. Hence, I go back to my first thing. What do you choose first? Itinerary is, and quality of ship is things that if you have done, nobody will blame you if you have taken a young ship, good itinerary, something happened. Okay, something happened. But if you have taken a ship that has 3 ports to go before your load port, that has a bad reputation, okay, then you're sure that you will end up having a problem. And then after you say, yeah, but I got it cheaper. Yes, okay, but the ship is cheaper, but look at how much it cost me.
Yeah, no, that's
After.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. What else in terms of geopolitics is very important in this business?
Of course, geopolitics is a big driver, not only for shipping, but also for the oil price itself. Now, we have lived something exceptional the last few years, starting from the war in Ukraine and between Ukraine and Russia, and then with what happened in the Red Sea. This has completely changed the way shipping is done because the trade became different. You gain on ton miles so much that it has completely, defeated your usual decision-making process is supply and demand. That's what we all trade based on supply and demand, okay? Well, there's geopolitical things happening. It gets everything out of the window. It's a mess, and whatever you supply and demand, it becomes irrelevant.
What are the most major events that the last decade?
Or even
I mean, COVID, for sure. The Costco, on tanker, the Costco sanction that Trump did on his first presidency, the war in Ukraine and Gaza, and the war against Gaza.
Okay, that's the biggest. Yeah. Interesting. And now to come back, because you say that the stressful situation, you don't have a ship, but bigger you are, more flexible you are. If you are
Well, hence also controlling own fleet is important. Now, we do it to trade mainly. We do it also to have this freedom or this capacity to have more access to tonnage when we need it, when our guys need it. You go to that's why it's super. You will never see any, especially crude oil major, not having ships. It's so you cannot find yourself without a ship to take. Otherwise, you stop the production, and this is super costly. Or you stop the refinery, and that becomes a disaster for yours. The costs are way more.
The question people will ask is like, if you have ships, why you need like a shipbroker?
Well, I said it before. You need an extra expertise. Okay, it's easy for me to say I was an ex-broker, so I will still defend. Not all my colleagues believe the same, but I'm a big supporter of broker for multiple reasons. One, it's always good to have an extra pair of eyes on when the deal is done, the recap, etc., that we have not messed up something in the recap. A lot of the brokers are more expert than yourself in a certain market. I cannot pretend covering 5 markets and be the best for a market. If suddenly there's a new market of, I say small ships in the Med. I do one a month. If I go to a broker who does 10, he obviously knows way better than me. He has access to more information, more things. So you use. Also, one thing I always say to the brokers are, if you fight with someone, if you disagree with someone, okay, you say something, he says something. First of all, the chances that this arrives very badly, the misunderstanding is huge. One, because we all trade in English, and 80% of the people trading in this market, English is not their mother tongue.
Yeah.
Okay, so they become tonation is wrong. The way you put your sentences is wrong.
Yeah.
The way you don't say good morning or goodbye, some people can be offended. Some people, so there's a lot of misunderstanding that happens. Broker should have the capacity to filter. Yes, you can receive a message with a bit too aggressive. The broker say, "I'm not sending you this. I think you should revise it, because if I send to the other guy, he will reply this, and then no deal." Yeah. The other interesting part is you see it often. I cannot tell you I will take your 100. You offered me 100. I will not take your 100 immediately. And if I say 90, you say, okay, I'm not interested, then we don't do a deal. But if I go to the broker, say, I'll do 90, I'll pay him 90 against his 100. But you know what? If he brings it comes to 95, maybe I consider it. So you've said two things. Officially, you said 100, but the broker has an official hint that you can get it somewhere that it's not his fixing, it's not his last thing. Okay, so that's a bit the advantage of using. So you can send two messages to your counterpart different.
Okay. Makes sense. Interesting. I have two last questions to ask you. First one, do you have some anecdotes, stories to share? I have a lot. Okay, please go ahead.
One of them, I remember this talking about brokers. So when I was a broker, I had one of this client and friend. Now, he saying he wanted to take a ship. We go on subs. We couldn't confirm the deal on time, and the ship owner, very aggressive ship owner, decided to say, "I'm not extending subs," and walk away.
Oh.
Okay, that was a cross-med handy, just to give you a bit of a thing. He walks away, and the guy gets upset. Does he know who I am? I will never, ever do business with him, nor me, nor my company. Tell him he's blacklisted for life. I'm stressed, etc., etc. An hour later, he goes back. I managed to get hold of the cargo. Can you get me the ship back? I told him, my friend, I told the guy that you would never do business there. Are you crazy, George? Are you crazy? Did you really tell him this? No, you're not serious. You're supposed to filter what I'm saying. I said, don't worry, I didn't.
Alright, so it's just
I'm making fun. I will get you the ship back. We got the ship back. We did the data. Is that what I tell people? It's only, by the way, it's only business. Okay? Don't take in emotion too seriously. Don't get your ego beyond your company interest. So that's one of the anecdotes. I mean, other anecdotes as I don't know how many others. I mean, there were a few funny ones for sure. Trying to remember. Maybe you give me a hint or something. I can as a charter.
Yeah, as a charter now, like some funny deals, or even you look. Sometimes you meet clients for the first time, and you have some strange meeting, or
You know what? What I tell you, never give up. I remember when I was in Dubai, we go, Matthew and myself, we go to another Emirate in Sharjah with the small, our case with our BRS things, and we go to a guy that I heard of, Greek guy working in a trading company, doing the chartering. Right. And we go to him, I say, here we are, George, Matthew. We just started this office here in Dubai. So we were the first one having a broken shop in Dubai. And want to do business. So he received us coffee, tea, all good. And I say, by the way, guys, I'm the only one this was probably 2003, so 20 years ago, okay? And indeed, Dubai did not have a lot of chartering people. So I'm the only one who have cover, and I have no intention to give you any. I only had my broker. So I think you're wasting your time. You should not have opened the office here. Quite bold. So we go back with our head like this. What the hell, boy? What have we done? How are we going to survive this state? Few weeks in, meet the guy at the with the Greek community. Had few drinks. Then the next day, we spoke about everything. And then one day he calls me 3 months after. By the way, I have a cargo for you. Do you want to try?
oh, what?
We became friends, but did not speak business anymore, right? We have common friends within the Greek community. And then and then guess what? 2 years after, we were exclusive on all his BP markets. And then we started doing the BP, and it became one of our biggest things. So never give up.
Maybe. Okay.
Never give up. But you have to, when you start something new, I mean, you have to put yourself in the shoes of that. Why would he try you? What have you proven? Is for young people, like you said, the most difficult is the start.
Yeah.
To make a name, why, etc. So you have to be different somehow to bring something new
To the table.
to the table, right?
For you, it was your multiple nationality.
Multiple nationality, multiple language, that helps a lot. It did help a lot, and of course it's not enough.
Okay.
Hardworking,
Yeah.
hardworking is what pays at the end, right? Then being humble. Humble is super important, especially in our business. These colleagues, your colleagues now, are still like my family after so many years. Although I stayed more in Trafigura and then here, but also the Trafigura guys became a family. But people that were your clients, then they became your colleague, and then they become your broker, and then after it's an owner you deal with, because the market, people move in the market, okay, and people remember each other, and helping somebody in his start or his bad time, etc., is always remembered. Not everybody will remember, but doesn't matter. You need to be humble. Your position does not make you. It's your character that makes. It's not because I'm in Trafigura charter that I'm better than the young broker in BRS. For sure not. And it's not because I'm 25 years in the business and the guy is 5 months and I cannot learn from him something.
Yeah, that's a good story. In terms of advices for young people, what would you say? Someone wants to work in shipping, chartering. What is the best way?
Open mind.
Okay.
Hard work. Think outside the box. Yeah. Don't oversell yourself. Okay. And don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone.
Okay. And in terms of position, what do you think is the best to start as?
You know what? Have you you've read The Alchemist?
I need to say the.
You need to read The Alchemist. The goal can be achieved through multiple paths. So it doesn't matter. And your goal, by the way, can move. You start at your age now, say, I want to be a charterer in DP, for example, or head. In 5 years, maybe you do completely something different. Okay? It doesn't matter. You just need to believe and like it. Like your job. If you like your job, you can only succeed. Okay? And to like your job, you have to be surrounded by nice people. You have to be nice to these people. You have to enjoy coming to the company with good guys. Broking shop is quite difficult usually because there's also internal competition. So sometimes it gets a little bit sharky. Yes. But again, that's what makes the beauty of it. Then you go out for a beer and everything is sorted. The smartness of a broker is absorbed, of course, and is understand the thinking of the people, the mood swings. There's always, from each of us has someone he has to report to at the end of the day. Okay? And he has to prove himself to his most. Your job is to help him look good. And same. And if we are the three of us, be the owner and the broker, what you need to do is a smooth deal that is a win-win. There's no winner-loser only. That's not true. It's the best deals are always the win-win. It's not 50-50 win-win. It can be 60-40, 70-30. Always don't kill your opponent when you can. Okay? Because you never, it will turn. One day you will be on the other side, okay? And it will be remembered.
Okay. Thank you, Josh, for this insightful episode.
I talk a lot, I know.
No, but it's good. Perfect.